Ambedkar was born in Madhya Pradesh in the year 1891. He was the 14th and last child of Ramji and Bhimabai. Ambedkar belongs to a caste called Mahar, who were treated as untouchables. As he belonged to the untouchables community, he faced many challenges and struggles. In school, Ambedkar was segregated in class. He was not allowed to sit, speak, or play with the other children. He was prohibited to touch either the water or vessel which the higher caste children shared. Ambedkar and his brother brought a guni sack to school. They would lay it in the corner of the class and sat on it. They were keen learners. Because of this, they endured all the struggles they faced and they graduated their primary education. At a young age, his mother had passed on. His father had retired and moved to a place called Korikar. Once Ambedkar and his siblings were traveling to visit their father during their term break. They were so thirsty during their journey, no one offered some drinking water to them. They traveled the whole day without a drop of water in their mouth. Ambedkar completed his higher secondary. He passed his matriculation examination with flying colors. He was the first from his Mahar caste to do so. At the age of 22, Ambedkar was awarded a Baroda State Scholarship. Ambedkar received his PhD degree in economics at Columbia University in 1927. After completing his degree, he was appointed as military secretary, but had to quit in a short time. He was teased and mocked, for he belonged to the untouchable community. He could not bear the pain and humiliation, so he returned to Mumbai. Prince Baruda visited Ambedkar in his house. He learned about Ambedkar's ordeal. He knew about his education background. Well, he decided to send Ambedkar abroad for further studies. With the help of Prince Baruda, he flew to America. He did his postgraduate education in Columbia University. He passed his MA exam in 1915, majoring in economics, sociology, history, and philosophy. Columbia University awarded him the doctorate degree and honored him. During his school days, he lost his dad. He had financial difficulties. He could hardly feed himself. He pressed on. He did not give up. He had a mantra which he followed. Education is food. He pressed on. After completing his education, he returned to India. He worked with Prince Badura. He joined as an accountant. At the palace, he was not allowed to stay there. Diwan was afraid that the people in the palace may show defiance if they knew he was from the untouchables community. Even the prince had no say in this matter. Once the people learned that he was from the untouchable community, they started to attack him. Ambedkar joined both his hands and begged them to stop, but his words fell on deaf ears. The people grew fury and threatened Ambedkar to leave or else. Oh, Ambedkar, his heart shattered into pieces. He sat in the garden and broke down into tears. He cried profusely. He returned to his homeland sadly. 1920, he went to London and enrolled at the London School of Economics. In 1923, he was called to the bar. He went on to work as a legal professional. He faced many struggles as a barrister too. Even though he was a lawyer, jurist, economist, he was suppressed. The only reason was he was from the untouchable community. Ambedkar did not lose hope. He fought for his right in the midst of the opposition. He excelled and soared to greater heights. Ambedkar protested as injustice brought to the untouchables, and victory was his. Once there was a well in his vicinity. A law was passed that even the untouchables could use the well to draw water. When Ambedkar and his people went to the well to use the water, the people of the other community was filled with rage. They threw diluted cow dung on him and humiliated him. August 15, 1947, India got her independence. Ambedkar was appointed the chairman of the drafting committee of the constitution. He was the first labor minister of India and also the first law minister. Throughout his life, Ambedkar fought for securing human rights for the downtrodden and the oppressed. The constitution drafted by Ambedkar ensures justice and equality to each and every citizen of India. Civil liberties, freedom of religion, abolition of untouchability, reservation, and prohibition of all forms of discrimination are the gifts of Ambedkar to Indians. He studied the salient features of constitutions of over 60 countries and distilled the best features that suited the Indian context. He is recognized worldwide as the maker of the Indian Constitution. He was able to do all this because he was an avid learner. He sets time to read to enrich his knowledge. He has a collection of 50,000 books in his house. As a nation, we are going to celebrate the Independence Day. Ambedkar, against all odds, brought that independence to India. A tribute to Baba Sahab. The Bible says, Ecclesiastic chapter 9 verses 15 to 17. Now there lived in that city a man, poor but wise, and he saved the city by his wisdom. But nobody remembered that poor man. So I said, wisdom is better than strength. But the poor man's wisdom is despised, and his words are no longer heeded. The quiet words of the wise are more to be heeded than the shouts of a ruler of fools.